for joining me today in this presentation. We will be delving deeper into the topic of compensating wage differentials. Compensating wage differentials provide a framework for understanding why certain jobs, especially those with undesirable characteristics, tend to offer higher wages. A compensating wage differential is the additional income that employers must offer to attract workers to less desirable or riskier jobs. These differentials ensure that jobs with unpleasant and hazardous conditions can still attract qualified workers. There are some non-wage attributes that might include long and irregular hours, exposure to dangerous pollutants, etc., that make these jobs more unsafe. The basic idea is that workers evaluate a job by not just the salary, but by the total package, including safety, flexibility, stress, and quality of life. So, why should we understand what compensating wage differentials are? It is essential for explaining why workers with similar education or experience levels may earn different incomes. For example, a commercial diver or a miner may earn more than an office administrator who sits within the office, and the skills, not because that their skills are rarer, but because the nature of their job is more dangerous in comparison to a person sitting in their office desk, which is a little bit more comfortable. So these differentials essentially shed light on the wage structures across the different industries and occupations, and they help policymakers and economists understand the labor supply, job sorting, and occupational choices. The labor market operates through a dynamic matching process where utility maximizing workers seek jobs that give them the best combination of pay and conditions, while profit maximizing firms balance wage costs with workplace safety and other amenities. Workers differ in how much they value their non-monetary characteristics. Some may prioritize that safety aspect or the flexibility, while the others may tolerate a higher risk for the better pay. Firms differ in how costly it is for them to make the environment safer. These differences in preferences and cost lead to the variety of jobs. These offers can be represented in isoprofit curves for firms and indifference curves for workers, which we will now visualize. So looking at a real-world example, we are going to look at the mining jobs in Northern Ontario, Newot, and Yukon. These jobs are often demanding and inherently dangerous. Workers face risks such as cave-ins, equipment malfunctions, and exposure to hazardous substances. Additionally, these jobs are located in remote areas, often requiring fly-in and fly-out schedules, long periods away from their family. So to attract workers to work in these mining companies, which are crucial to all of us, they offer significantly higher wages, housing benefits, and bonuses. Even though the work may not require more education, the higher wages reflect the personal cost and the risk endured by the worker. So today we will be looking into 4 different diagrams. Jumping into the diagrams, the first diagram shows how wages adjust to compensate workers for job risk, especially in hazardous industries like mining. Mining jobs are represented on the top left, where the safety is low, which stands for the SL, and the wages are high, which is the WL. To attract workers into dangerous roles like mining, firms must offer significantly higher pay, and this is a core idea of the wage differential. The indifference curves, which is UC, UA, and UM, show worker preferences. Less risk-averse workers are willing to accept a low safety for more pay. On the other hand, it would differ for the highly risk-averse workers. The wage difference between these two jobs, holding utility constant, is the differential. This clearly supports why mining jobs pay more. Workers need to be compensated for the extreme working conditions and risk. Here, this is an overall bar chart that shows as risk level declines across industries in Canada. These are values taken from the Canadian industries like manufacture, retail, office work. Wages also decrease, demonstrating the compensating wage differential in action. Moving on to the next slide, we can look at the graph C and D, which show the effect that wage differentials would have on the worker as well as the employer. In graph C, we can see that the government has forced a specific amount of safety level that is required. The mining industry, this would mean having to invest in better equipment, ventilation, safety protocols. Since safety improvements are expensive, wages will fall and workers will end up on a lower utility curve. The worker is worse off in this situation. In graph D, the firm increases safety without reducing the worker's utility. So UN would remain constant. However, wages do not fall, meaning the firm absorbs the cost and moves the ISO profit curve from IM to IN. In a mining industry, this scenario reflects large companies that bear the financial burden for meeting these safety mandates. Another area that I looked into while looking into compensating wage differential is the statistical value of life. This is one of the powerful applications of the CWD theory, is calculating the statistical value of life. By observing how much extra compensation workers demand for increased risk of death or injury, economists estimate how society values life in monetary terms. These estimates guide public policy decisions in areas like transportation, safety, and environmental protection. To conclude, compensating wage differentials are a foundation concept in labor economics that helps us understand wage variations beyond skill and education. Workers don't just care about the money, they care about the total job experience, and the labor market reflect these preferences. Thank you.